We got Miss Monique Billings in the house, baby.
Hey.
What is up, girl? We've been trying to make this happen
good?
for a long time.
Been a long time coming, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Great timing.
Welcome. We have all the way from Atlanta, the Atlanta Dream,
You feel
everybody.
me?
How was it? I guess the Atlanta Dream was the dream, right? In terms of
Exactly.
being in the WNBA.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it wasn't my dream for the longest time. Because
Wait, the WNBA was not your dream?
No, because I didn't know that I'd be able to achieve that. And so I never dreamt it because I was just like, that's too big. Like, why, me? I'm from Corona, California. No one knows where that's at, you know? So
Yeah.
I never knew I'd have that opportunity. So being able to have that opportunity now, it's for sure my dream.
Why do you think that you weren't like able to do that, like growing up? Or was it like earlier than growing up? Like, how did you get that belief in your head that I guess you weren't talented enough or have the abilities to achieve that?
I mean, just making it into the WNBA, there's only 144 people, right? So I'm like, just the chances of that happening.
144 people total, like okay.
In the world.
Yeah.
So the chances of that happening, you don't think about that at a young age, but when I'm going to Sparks games, I'm watching the greats play. I'm just like, I can never do this. Like, these are super women. Like,
so would you go to like WNBA games like growing up?
oh yeah, my parents would take me, and
Okay.
so that was the first time that I had the visibility of seeing this, and I'm
Sweet.
like, I could never.
What age would this be?
Maybe like between ages 6 to 10 ish.
Yeah. So then when was the spark of like, I could do this?
Junior year in college.
So at UCLA?
Yes.
Okay.
So breakout season. I started being recruited, like getting recruited by WNBA scouts. And so I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I could be a pro. This could be a thing.
Yeah. In your book, you were talking about how like you always slept on like the underdog type of deal, right? Do you think that was all in your head, or do you think that was true?
I think it's true.
Yeah.
I think it's true. I've always had to just work my way like extra hard, I feel like, to where I'm at. And I still have so much more to go, so much room to grow.
Why do you think they tried to redshirt you that freshman year? Because I saw you reading that in the book.
There was 5 of us that came in.
Okay.
And I think I was like the 4th best or whatever out of the 5, considered to be the 4th best.
Sure. Just based
like,
on stats.
Yeah, I was in a McDonald's All-American.
Okay.
That was a big thing.
Yeah.
And so I think schools kind of just, they have so many players sometimes.
Can you tell us what a McDonald's All-American is?
Yes, McDonald's All-American is like a game that's played. It's men and women in high school. It's like the best high school players. You're ranked at a certain number, and you get this opportunity. It's sponsored by McDonald's, and you're an All-American. So you get this opportunity to play in this game.
So you weren't that?
No.
Okay.
So that's why I said I was slept on, you know, from the beginning. So slept on, and again, even in college, slept on. My coaches maybe at that time, and they admitted to me that they wanted to redshirt me. They thought I needed some development.
Yeah. What was your response to that? Because obviously, like, that's not a good feeling, right?
I mean, I was told this after I had a great season. So I was like, oh, like I had no idea. Yeah.
Okay.
After my freshman year, they told me that. And I'm like, wow, I had no idea that you guys were even thinking about that.
They didn't even tell you at the time, which is probably a blessing in disguise, right?
I would have been pretty discouraged to hear that. But I'm the type, I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, that's cute. You thought that. But no, I'm going to go get some
And
buckets.
what other aspects besides, I guess, sports?
Being slept on?
Yeah.
I mean, just being a Black woman, you know, I feel like we're slept on quite a bit, just with opportunities.
Sure.
And I have a very optimistic view on life. So I feel like that is changing. And I am now in the mindset of dreaming big enough.
Sure.
Like when I was younger, I didn't have that, but being able to dream big enough now to know like, nah, anything is possible. Just go get it.
What other, I guess, being a Black woman in like society and stuff, I don't know, there's a lot of examples of people achieving like something really, really great from like not a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe like Floyd Mayweather's example, or like Rocky, or something like that, you know? And I guess what other, like, can you give me like certain examples of why you felt that way, like growing up? Like, because obviously in the generation before us, there was a lot more, like, with I guess like the Martin Luther King era, you know, I guess like in our era, what were some examples that you felt that way?
Like personally that I personally felt slept on.
No, that you in the category of being a Black woman.
Oh, that's a great question. I would just say visibility. So growing up, I didn't always see a feminine Black woman who's also an athlete. Sure. I didn't see that.
I don't see that a lot either. That's one thing that I very that you portray very well.
Thank you.
Because like not only are you like this badass like athlete, and then you're doing a photo shoot the next day. Yes. Okay, so that was a good example. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was on point. Yeah, I just didn't see that. So I think that's a reason too why I didn't know that being who I am today was a possibility.
That's what's up. So now we have to add author to the mix. Why did you want to write a book?
I didn't want to write a book.
You didn't want to write a book. You didn't want to be a WNBA player. All this.
Initially, no. But I've had great people around me who have kind of pushed me into these spaces that I've come to find that are my purpose. So with this book, I'm huge on wellness. Yeah. Wellness.
What does wellness mean to you?
Ooh, put me on the spot. I think it's a changing thing. I think it's being willing to open yourself up to understand who you are in whatever space that you're in. I feel like that's wellness. And I'm passionate about that. Like I feel good, my mind, my body, my spirit. I'm in a good space in life, and I want my peers and other people who follow me, who watch me and support me to feel the same way. And so that's where the book came from. Yeah.
Do you think everyone could achieve that?
Totally. I think if people put in the work, it's very achievable.
Yeah. I was reading it, and I would think about, I guess, the mom with like 6 kids. Yeah. Who's like working at maybe a hotel or something every single day, and like they can't have this like routine that you're talking about. They can't, like they have to pay the bills, you know? And like, what would you say to like, I guess like those people who like don't have like the blessings or the opportunity or the time, because it's if they don't do this work that they need to support like whoever, you know, like it's just tough.
Yeah. I mean, I would say start small just by implementing little things. So if that's literally 5 minutes of journaling or prayer or just having a moment to yourself, it's those little things that just add up over time, and just being intentional to take that time. So the mom with 6 kids, when the kids go to bed, like that's you time. Yeah. Or if you're able to go to sleep somewhat early, waking up in the morning a little bit earlier than you had planned, like just having some time to ground yourself, to prime yourself for the day. I think that's so important. It's just, like I said, being intentional. Yeah, start small, but just be intentional to put yourself first. Yeah.
And what about balance? I guess, what's your definition of like a balanced life? Or does wellness go along with like being balanced?
Totally. I would say wellness does go along with being balanced. Being balanced to me is just listening to my spirit and checking in with myself often, asking, how do I feel in this moment?
What do you mean listening to your spirit?
So again, it comes with taking that time. So taking quiet time. This morning when I woke up, before going on social media, before answering texts, like I open up my journal. I personally love to write, but it could be anything. It could just be going outside and standing and, I don't know, looking up, you know, looking at the sky. It could just be sitting and just taking a moment to pause and listening to yourself within and asking, how do I feel in this moment? What's really going on inside of me? Like I haven't checked in with myself. So I think check-ins daily, even just throughout the day, are important.
Like with yourself.
Yeah, self check-ins.
So when these thoughts come to you, I guess for me during quiet time too, it's just like you're reflecting, right? Yeah. Or like meditation.
Listening, reflecting. It depends. It depends on what you're opening yourself up to. I'm a woman of faith, so a lot of time in my quiet time, I'm asking God for discernment. Where do you want me to go? Where are you leading me, guiding me? How can I be a vessel today? Who do I need to pour into? And so those are the things that I'm asking in my quiet time.
Where did you learn this from?
Ooh, I had a great foundation with my parents. Again, like I'm rooted in my faith. So just my journey with my faith has brought me to where I'm at today. But I constantly, I don't know, I'm very self-reflective.
Self-aware as well. But like for someone like in our age bracket, like it's really hard to develop those skills at like, some people aren't very self-aware like into their 40s, 50s, 60s, you know, and learning to understand yourself is a really hard thing to do. And like, I'm just really curious, like did your parents teach you this, or like, where did it come from?
That's a great question.
There's a lot of parents who I guess like instill in their kids, like, you should read these books, you should follow this philosophy, you should follow this religion, right? And that like kind of influences them to build up their, I guess, like
their moral compass
type of deal. But there's also a lot of people who like build it differently just on their own.
I think it was honestly on my own. Like I said, I've had that foundation, but I can go back and find journals from like 6th grade where I'd write 2 lines.
6th grade?
6th grade,
Really?
like 2007, 2008. And I'm like, today I had a good day. I like this boy. He's cute. Like stuff like that. I can go back and see
Let's
that.
find these journals, guys.
No, you don't want to
We'll find these
journals.
boys.
But no, looking at all these journals, it's just like, it's always kind of been within me just to take that time. That's just been a natural thing for me.
Sure. That's what's up. What do you call it for basketball? We'll go back and forth real quick. But when did you start playing?
I started playing at 5.
At 5 years old.
5 years
and
old.
Did your dad teach you how to play?
Yeah, and he kind of got me into the sport. He asked me one day if I wanted to play. I had some friends in the neighborhood who were on a team.
Yeah.
I really did not want to play because I've always been girly, feminine. He was like, if you play, you can't wear a dress. And I'm like, I can't wear a dress. Like,
That's lame.
That's lame. I'm trying to wear my dress, but I wanted to make him proud, so I tried it out, and it was beautiful.
And what made you stick with it?
Ooh, I like it, and it's fun. It's that simple.
Are you entertained by actual basketball? I mean, like, did you watch basketball growing up as well?
Not really. I would watch older tapes like 90s Bulls or like Olajuwon. That's my favorite player of all time. I'd watch those tapes.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah, I was never, maybe my mom, she would watch the Spurs. That was her team. But
Did you like Jordan's documentary?
yes, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it just shows you the work ethic is just insane. It's
It
very
shows
inspiring.
me like I'm not doing as much as I thought I was, you know?
What do you call it? So when you got into UCLA, like, what was that feeling like?
Ooh.
To like, I'm assuming you got a scholarship, right? Okay.
I had options to go to different schools.
Yeah.
And so I narrowed it down to 5, my top 5, whatever. And so, yeah, I took my official visit and I was like, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it in a big picture type of sense. I was just kind of in the moment, 18 years old, trying to figure it out. And I'm glad I made that decision.
What was the first feeling when you played that game in front of a big crowd in UCLA?
Ooh, like, dang, I'm really here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm here.
Yeah.
Surreal.
What about the WNBA?
Same type of thing.
Yeah.
Just energy rushing, blood pumping. Like, wow, is this really happening? Like, I can't believe we're here.
Because that's like on a world stage, right? Like,
Yes.
you're in front of like all these cameras. Like, do you get nervous?
Now, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I get nervous now.
Really?
So I'll get excited.
Okay.
Like, I'm ready, but I know how to like calm myself a little bit more.
What are some tips to like, I guess, like calming yourself?
Ooh. For me, music is a big one. So I like listening to calm music, like lo-fi or jazz. That's what I'm listening to on game days. Or like, I've been listening to a lot of like affirmations lately. And so those are just good reminders for me. So if I'm like getting ready for the game, I have like affirmations playing.
Oh, is that like an app or something that you use?
I use, well, they have them on Apple Music.
Okay,
so I'm
just
sure
straight up affirmations on Apple Music.
there's,
typing it
I'm gonna
in.
give a shout out, Kenneth Soares. I think
Come
that's
on,
his
Kenneth
name.
Soares.
Kenneth Soares. He has some really great affirmations, like 20 minutes, and they're very empowering. So that's what I'll listen to or play, even if I'm just at the house and I feel like my spirit's a little overwhelmed, and I just play that.
I've been diving into music a little bit more, and not necessarily like different artists and stuff, but like how music makes people feel, right? Because like there's a lot of people who enjoy music from like the lyrical standpoint, right?
Totally.
But there's also a lot of people who enjoy music from just like the sounds.
That's me.
You know, that's you.
Yeah.
And because there's some science behind it too, like the vibrations and the sound
Music
waves.
is very vibrational.
And like, can you describe to me like that feeling? Because for me, I'm a very lyrical person. Like I listen to like music a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I depict like what they're saying, like their story behind it. But like what's the feeling when you're, I guess, like feeling these vibrations of energy through headphones? Like, because I'm trying to get into it a little bit more, like the whole EDM or like different areas. Like it doesn't need to be EDM, but like people go to those things because the music makes them feel a certain way.
Totally. I mean, I think it's, again, being kind of just tapped into what you're feeling and listening to yourself. I'm moody when it comes to my music, so it depends on my mood, what I'll listen to. So in the morning, a lot of times it's like lo-fi, jazz. I'm not listening to words. I'm listening to sounds. Yeah. When I meditate, I like listening to like ocean waves or just chimes and gongs and stuff like that, just because it's very calming. Sometimes if I feel like my body's sore, I'll listen to like healing frequency music. So there's all different types of music. It just depends on what you need, you feel like you need in that moment.
Those are all certain different types of music from different cultures.
Totally.
And I feel like from your book too, you have all these like words with a definition from like Japanese culture, as well as Danish, all over the place. Why is that? Why are you so, I guess, taking all these elements from different cultures that I guess like you resonate with, but aren't necessarily part of like how you grew up?
That's been my life. The last 6 years as a professional, I've played in 10 different countries. I have friends all over the world, and I'm totally just like a dive
sponge.
in. Yeah, I'm a sponge. I love cultures and experiencing them fully. So learning different words and just having these experiences abroad and overseas, I kind of wanted to take pieces from wherever I've been all throughout my journey and put it into my work.
Oh, that's beautiful. What do you learn most from traveling?
People are good. There's good people in the world. Everywhere that I travel, that's my favorite part about traveling, playing abroad, just the people that I've been able to meet. It's been beautiful, priceless. But yeah, there's really good people in the world. That's what I learned. Yeah,
when I was traveling to Europe, people are just like nice. And I was like, coming from LA to, I love LA. I'm not talking shit on LA. Facts. I love LA. Like, I love the hustle culture about it. I love that you could run into
famous people at lunch.
Well, who was it? Who did you just run into?
I don't know if we need to say. Yeah, we're not gonna say. We're not gonna say. Yeah, no.
Famous people at lunch.
Famous
but
people
like,
at lunch.
like that happens. But also, like, you'll go on a hike and people won't say hi to you.
Yes.
You know? But you'd go to Europe and everyone's saying hi. Like, I would go into this train, right? And I'd be like, hey guys, I need help. I can't read any signs. And then so many people would be so accommodating. You know?
Yeah, I can relate to that. Like, I go to the grocery store. I'm living in Istanbul right now. So I'll go to the grocery store. I'm looking for, I don't know, salami. And I don't know how to say it in Turkish. So I'm like Google Translate, trying to hold it up to people. Oh, so
that's what you do.
The struggle is real. I'm like, is this whole milk? Is this 2% milk? I don't know.
You can't read it, right?
None of it.
So you're just typing it in your phone, and is that how you get by?
But it's funny because my phone doesn't necessarily work overseas. It works in Wi-Fi. So if the store doesn't have Wi-Fi, I don't have service.
Oh, I got to put you on. There's this SD card like called Orange.
Yeah.
And you just download like an online SIM card.
Huh.
And like it's like $20 for like 3 months.
I might have to try that out.
And it works better than that Wi-Fi for sure.
I kind of love not having a phone though. That makes sense because I'm so much more connected to my environment.
Solo time.
Yes.
It's your, what do you call it in the book?
What do you mean? Like
protecting your space.
Yeah, protecting your exactly.
Kinda.
So if I'm putting my phone away, I have to acknowledge people. I have to look people in the eye. I'm aware. You know, my directions are on point because I'm like, okay, I just passed this and I saw this, so I got to make sure.
Staying present.
Yeah, I'm present.
What do you call it? What's the importance of, I guess, like alone time and being present with yourself, in your opinion?
I think it's so important because if you don't know who you are, especially outside of what you're doing and what people are telling you who you are and what to do, if you don't have that sense of self, it's like you're nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah. How does someone, I guess, like start to understand who they are?
I think people need to take more time with themselves and be uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable sometimes not having your phone. We're so used to it, but it's okay to go on a walk and maybe not take your phone. It's okay to start your day off in prayer, in meditation.
Sure.
And again, not being on your phone, not being just so tapped in all the time, but tapping in with yourself.
I find a hard time to do that sometimes because I guess like with like work, like with deadlines and like people needing you at a certain place or anytime, I'm always like afraid of like, I'm going to miss something, you know? And like, I'll go for a run and like not have a phone, or I'll like go on a hike, not have a phone, and then all these things. But I feel like it's hard for, I guess, people these days because so much is done on your phone. Like they've made like work logins on your phone. Like you don't need a computer anymore. Like you need to, for your bank accounts, like you need your like face screen and everything. Like, I don't know.
For me, I just don't want to be a slave to technology.
Sure.
Like my phone is a great resource and I'm grateful for it, but I don't want to just be in my phone at all times. Like if I'm interacting with someone at a lunch, I don't want to be on my phone. Yeah. You know, so it's important just to establish, again, protect your space and establish your boundaries.
Sure. There's this one quote in the book that it kind of got me. It was a quote by your dad. It was get better today, but not as good as tomorrow, right?
Be better than yesterday.
Be better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow. Yes. And like because like for the last, since I was in a freshman year in high school, every time I went to the gym, I'd always post a hashtag like get better today. And why do you I like it because it's intriguing to me. Like why not as good as tomorrow?
Better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow, because I feel like that's limiting yourself. If you're saying I'm going to be this good, why not break that boundary and continue just to it's like a challenge almost. You're challenging yourself. You're competing with yourself to continue to grow, to make gains. And it's not always, you're not always going to be on the up. Sometimes you're on the down, but getting better is like a stock market. Like when you think about that, it's trending up. You're always going to be trending up. That's what I think about.
Okay. Because I thought it was limiting the other way. I was curious.
Really?
Well, I just didn't know how to interpret it. I was like, that's super intriguing. It's harder which way to choose it.
I think not as good as tomorrow just means that I'm not going to limit myself to
today.
Exactly.
Because you're always going to try to beat that tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yes. Understood. And the second one was something about don't. What was your dad's quote about don't? It's like, do things other people's.
Oh, yeah. Do what others don't to achieve what others won't.
Yeah, that one
always told me.
That one hit me because there's this other quote that I read that it was to be uncommon, you have to do uncommon things. You know?
Exactly.
And like hanging out with you, the short time we hung out a few times, you're really uncommon. Which is like, it's a compliment.
Thank you.
Because you don't drink alcohol, right? And I guess like you do all these meditations, you do yoga for like your body type and everything. That's uncommon. Yeah. You know? And like, I guess let's start with like meditation. Like that's a lot of people. You're Christian? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah.
Like go to prayer and they don't like the word meditation type of deal. So like, how did you adopt meditation? And I guess like, why is it pair well with, I guess, your faith in that way?
I would say the intention pairs well. So when I'm meditating, a lot of times I'm praying, like I'm in conversation with God, thanking him, again, asking and seeking for discernment. Yeah. So it just depends on what your intention is. And there's different types of meditations as well. There's meditations that are more like prayers. There's meditations where I do want to just still my mind and just be present and just sit with whatever comes. There's active meditations, which can be washing my hair, doing the dishes, but it's like, I'm going to be so present in this moment and this is all that I'm doing. Cooking is another one. It's like so therapeutic for me because it's an active meditation. And it's like, I'm focused. This is where my mind is. This is where my body and spirit are. Like I'm here.
So
this
it
is what
doesn't
I'm doing.
always have to be like I close my eyes and I just breathe in and
no,
I breathe out, I breathe in.
There's so many different forms of meditation. Going on a walk and not bringing your phone, that's another form of meditation.
Well, I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by like trying to meditate because that's what they think it is.
There's a stigma around it and it can be intimidating. I can understand because how do we sit still for 30 minutes and not do anything people think they're not supposed to think anything. I don't think that's what meditation is supposed to be. It's just kind of allowing. And something that I listened to before is like when you're meditating, your thoughts are kind of like a balloon. And so if the balloon is here and the balloon starts to float, just pull it back and just be here. And you controlling your thoughts and the pace of where your mind is going, that's meditation in itself.
What about working out and yoga and all these like things that you do for your body? Obviously you have to because you're an elite athlete, but I guess for the average person or athletes out there, what's the importance of moving and I guess maintaining that mobility with yoga,
Yeah.
or what other types of like movement do you do?
Yeah, I've gotten into Pilates.
Okay.
You brought up yoga. I do hot yoga.
Let's go.
Moving your body is essential because our bodies are our temples. And so for me as a professional athlete, it's my job to make sure that my body feels good, to make sure that I just have that connectedness and knowing what's going on with my body. So listening like, oh, this is tender today, or I'm sore here today. I don't know why. I think that's really important for me. But even just for the average person, like it's good just to have that connectedness with your body and letting your body know like, hey, we're alive. We're meant to move. Our ancestors, this is what they did. They hunted, you know, they were out in the field getting stuff done every single day. And it's every like, day. We're the same species. Like we're built and meant to move. That's our purpose.
Yeah. Some of us might not look like the same species.
But that's okay. Like there's no need to compare. It's like wherever you're at, like do the best that you can with what you have and what you've been given. Like our bodies are tools. Let's use them.
How do we motivate people to actually like start moving, to do like the things for our body and mind? Because when you say, like, in my opinion, they go hand in hand.
Yes.
Like when I move and when I run, or like when I stretch and do a workout, like I feel more alive, you know, like my brain is working better, all these things. And like if you look at America, like our statistics just show that we have so many obese people, so many people who like don't work out, don't move, don't do all these things. And it's kind of sad because just like the potential is there, right?
Totally.
And we are the same species as our ancestors, but like looking at it objectively, it doesn't look like a promising route for a lot of society, you know? So like, where would someone start if they're listening to this and they're just like, wow, like I want to start moving, and like, I don't know where to start?
Man, it's the little things. First of all, don't compare. Don't compare your journey, your race, and wherever you're at in your life to anyone else's. I think that's the first step. Second, start small. Like go on a walk, and if that's 5 minutes, that's cool. 5 minutes today, 10 minutes next week. You know, it's just little things like that. But I think the motivation has to come from within. I think people have to want to do it, because when I notice, I'll notice people who want that motivation, but if you don't want it for yourself, one, you're not going to sustain it. Once you get into a habit and start getting it, you're not going to sustain it if someone else is constantly on you, drilling you, telling you what to do. Like, you have to want it yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like it's hard for people to hear that sometimes. It's real though.
You know, the truth hurts. It hurts, but it's like it literally has to come from within.
Yeah, I love that. How did you get into, I guess, all these other types of working out? Because I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but do other WNBA or NBA athletes do yoga, do Pilates, do these other types of things? Or is this like unique to you?
I think in recent years, it's becoming more popular for sure. But it just depends. Everybody's body is different with professional athletes. So it depends on like what works for them. So a lot of people don't like yoga, don't like hot yoga, and that's just not their thing. So sometimes they'll find things that work for them. So if that's like getting stretched instead of maybe doing yoga and stretching on their own, everyone has you kind of just find your own thing and what works for you. For me, yoga's been great. Pilates. I like doing all the things.
How has, I guess, the cross training of it like impacted your game?
I have more flexibility, and I think in the long run that's going to help me a lot with just the longevity of my career. And again, like I just feel connected to my body, and I notice how my body changes in different seasons. Like when I'm in season, I lose weight. When I'm out of season, I'll probably gain more weight. So I notice that these different things. And so cross training with basketball just helps me to stay on track and just on point.
That's what's up. I guess it sounds like every time we talk to, like, you're always in these meetings, right? Just like, I guess scoping, planning your future.
Yeah.
And why is that important to you? Like, why is it important to, I guess, like be prepared for the future? Because there's so many athletes that are stories that saying like, oh, they signed these $1 million contracts and they're broke in 10 years or something like that, you know?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, the ball goes flat at some point. Whatever sport you play, you're not going to play it forever. And so I have that understanding, and I know that basketball is the platform to get me to wherever I'm supposed to be and meant to be next. And so I just want to utilize every opportunity that I have, networking, and just use this platform as much as I can to the best of my ability. So I see the bigger picture, and I'm blessed because I have people around me who remind me to see that bigger picture. But yeah, if God forbid I wasn't able to play basketball again, it's like, okay, what's next? Like life goes on. You have to figure it out and figure out what you like. And again, like who you are outside of what you do.
Yeah. I guess how do you stay present while also planning for it? Because it's kind of counterintuitive, right? It's like
a little bit.
I'm staying present and doing my thing, but also I'm planning for like all these things in the future.
Yeah, I think it's about being open to whatever comes. So I have this plan, right? And this is what it looks like. This is how I see it in my head.
Sure.
But I'm going along the path that God has me on.
Yeah.
And a lot of times God has a different plan for me. But in the bigger picture and in the long run, like it worked out better than I wrote, you know, because he wrote it. And so that's truly what I believe. I just believe that we all have a path that we're on.
Yeah.
We all have a purpose. And so if you are walking with like upright intentions and just trying to walk on the path of righteousness as much as you can, I believe that that's being present in itself, and then the right things will find you, the right people, and just timing it all works out.
It's funny how it works out a lot of the time, right?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Like it's funny that you believe this thing that you want to do in your life.
Yeah.
And then the right people kind of lead you the way, and it just happens, right? Yeah. I guess for the purpose part, a lot of people struggle to like find their purpose. And I did for a long time, and I don't even know if like what it is still. Yeah. But how did you discover yours, I guess? Because like you said you didn't know if you wanted to be in the WNBA, right? Yeah. And you didn't know you wanted to do all these things that you're currently doing right now. So I guess how did you discover it? And I guess what is it first? Okay, my purpose is to be what I didn't have when I was growing up. And so that's just that visibility. I didn't see, like I said earlier, I didn't see that African-American woman who's feminine, has that feminine energy, but is also athletic and like gets after it and is like a boss. I didn't see that. So I'm like, okay, I didn't see that, but here I am. That's what I've become. Like I want that visibility to be for young people, for people to come so they can see me. And I think finding your purpose is just about, it's a feeling that you get when, like, what are you passionate about? What just fills up your cup and you feel like, yo, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I had that feeling when I spoke to a young group of girls at like a camp. My rookie year. Okay. And so talking to them. Yeah. No, I was a rookie. So first year in the league. Got it. And I've had like, I would say like little sparks and glimpses of that probably in college. But when I really felt it was my first year in the league. And I was like, wow, like this feels good. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this. And it was so much bigger than basketball. Yeah. You know, I'm sharing a piece of myself with these young girls. And so I think for people who are trying to find their purpose, it doesn't have to be this grand thing. And I do think we have save the world and all these things. Like I'm gonna fix global warming.
You feel me? Yeah. It might just be being a great human being to your neighbor, so they can trust and believe that there's good people in the world again. That could be something like that. I'm not even gonna say that's small. It seems so simple, but that might be a huge purpose because I truly believe like it's like a domino effect. Yeah. Like that person affecting their neighbor, the neighbor affects someone else, and it's just like this big, like a tree with so many branches that it's just connected in so many ways. Sure.
Do you know who Jordan Peterson is?
No.
So he's this, I would say psychologist, but I used to listen to a lot of his lectures, and he would talk about like networking a lot, right? And basically the sum of it's like, you and me are gonna at least know 1,000 people by name in our lifetime, right? Yeah. So just between you and me, our network's gonna be around 1 million people, 1,000 times 1,000. Yeah. And if you expand that like one more person out 1,000 times, 1,000 times, 1,000 times, thousands, like within 2 people within our lifetime, we affect like 1 billion people.
Yes.
And that's like 1/8 of the population, right? And so what you say to me and what I say to you is way more important than you think.
Yes.
You know, it's like that impact.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
it might not seem like it's a big deal or it's going super far because you don't see like you're on this big platform, whatever. But
and then when that ball finally flattens out, and then there was that girl who you talked to when you were in your rookie season being like, I got here because of Miss Mo Billings, baby, you know.
that's the goal.
That's what's up.
That is the goal.
Yeah. I guess you didn't have that figure growing up to like see. So who did you look up to, like, to, I guess, like, do the things that you wanted to do?
Well, I always admired Tyra Banks.
Tyra Banks.
I thought I was going to be on America's Next Top Model. I thought that was going to be me. But I always looked up to her, admired her, just boss lady, glamorous, doing the whole modeling thing. But then it's like, okay, I'm athletic and I like sports. So how do I kind of bring the two together?
Yeah.
So I never saw, again, like just someone who was doing both in both worlds.
How does it feel to, I guess, be actually doing the things that I guess Tyra Banks did when you were looking up to her? Because you are doing those modeling shoots. You are doing these things that you wanted to do initially before basketball.
I can't even compare myself to her.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's I can't even think like that. But I
I'm
never
just talking
thought.
about the modeling and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's been great. I'm so grateful because, that's what I really wanted to do growing up. I knew that I wanted to be a model.
That's what's up. What would you say, I guess, what did you say or what would you say to, like, I guess these, like, young, like, African-American females who are seeing you as, like, the goal, right? And they just don't know how to, like, get there.
Totally.
Or achieve that status in the world, but like achieve that dream for them.
Yeah, I would say don't limit yourself. When I was young, I limited myself. Why didn't I see myself being a WNBA player, having this platform? I don't know, but I'm here now, and I want young girls who see me to know that they can achieve it too. They just got to put the work in.
Are you a goals person?
That's a great question. Yes and no.
What does that mean?
Because, okay, kind of like what we talked about earlier, I'll see the bigger picture of things, but I'm open to the flexibility of life.
Yeah.
So I put my intention out. This is my goal. This is what I want. But lately I've just been more focused on the process and process oriented.
Yeah. I kind of cut goals out of like my New Year's resolution probably like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whole philosophy is just like get better at the things that you're doing, you know? And by, the results of that should be the goals that you would plan to write down or do whatever. And
I want to add to that. It's all about character too. So not only get better at what you're doing, but like who are you becoming? That's where I'm at today.
A buddy of mine I had on the podcast probably like a year and a half ago said character equals destiny.
I like that.
You know, people are attracted to character, you know. It's like, who are you behind the jersey or behind the game or behind the microphone?
How do you make people feel?
Yeah.
That's what really matters, because people aren't going to remember like, oh, you had 20 points and 30 rebounds in this game. It's like, nah, like you took the time to say that to me, or you encouraged me in this way, and it meant a lot.
Yeah, because like a lot of people sometimes don't even remember like a person by their name. They're just like, wow, that person made me feel so good.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
What do you call it? From traveling all over the place, what's your favorite destination, or like where have you been that a lot of people will never go to just because like they're working or doing their own thing here?
Totally.
Like you've been blessed to be all over the world.
Yes. So my favorite place that I've played was China. Favorite place to, I guess, visit was Greece, Athens, Greece.
Played just because of like the team stuff was cool, like the basketball was dope?
It was my first experience playing abroad, and it was just total culture shock. They took great care of me. Like, it was just dope.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And what about Greece? Like, what was so amazing about it that you would say it's your favorite?
I had this like grounding feling when I got to Greece. Like I felt just like calm and like, yo, I'm meant to be here. That's how I felt.
Wow. What do you think the difference is by the people in Greece versus the people in America?
I think, and this is like, I would say Europe, not even just Greece, but in Europe, I think people, I don't want to mess this up, but people work to live. Yeah, people work to live. Whereas here in the States, people live to work. It's just a different mentality. Like the style of life is just, it's just different.
Yeah. I was having a cappuccino like one morning at like 11 a.m. with this German guy.
Yeah.
And we were in this hostel in Florence. And he was just talking about how he worked 9 months out of the year and blew all his money on 3 months of traveling the world and experiencing life. And he's like in his like mid-late 30s, and he does this every single year. And I was just like, wow, he's not concerned about like, I guess, success or, because I take that back. That's his definition of success.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But he's not chasing or trying to like grow into something that he has no desire to be.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes like I question him, like, why do we strive to do all these things when in reality, like, we are just should be happy where we're at?
Right. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I think it's a lot of what we see, what we have access to. If we're seeing those things in our television shows, on Instagram, social media, if that's what we're seeing, it's being fed to us like, oh, if you want to be happy, you want to be successful.
Your diet's just not your food, guys.
Exactly. No, we're seeing all of these things, and I think it's impacting us in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's interesting. What, so your dad just passed, right?
Yeah.
Last November?
November 21.
Oh, it's been 2 years already.
Almost this November will be 2 years.
And I remember when that happened, like, that was like a tough time, right? And you kind of were going through the motions of like still working, still playing.
Totally.
And I guess what was that like experiencing it at a relatively young age? A lot of people don't lose their dad until like they're older.
Yeah. I mean, I think my dad equipped me for so much, for if this moment were to come, and it did come.
Yeah.
So I knew that he would want me to keep going. He told me before he passed, he said, you got to keep boot stomping through life. So, you know, that's how I see it. I know he wouldn't want me to stop, in that I'm glad he was able to see all that I have been able to achieve up until this point. I dedicated my book to him. Yeah. But yeah, he was a no-nonsense type of guy, you know, a man of faith. So me being a woman of faith, I know that he's in a better place. I'm happy that he's in peace and restored. And so I have peace.
That's what's up. Absolute jacked, guys. Kev, our mutual friend would always be like, when I'm a dad, I want to look like Mo's dad.
He was a beast, man. He was a beast.
Did he instill like the workouts and stuff like growing up?
Yeah, he was my trainer. I started working out, doing lifts and stuff at 13, and it was because of him.
At 13?
13.
What's your favorite lift?
Ooh, so it's he called it a man-made. I don't know if it's the name, but it's like a barbell complex. Okay. It's a row, clean, overhead press.
Row, clean, overhead press. And that's what it's called, like man-made?
Yeah, that's what he called it. Oh, okay. And I'm sure he didn't make that up. He might have. I don't know, but it's a barbell complex. Okay,
that's what's up. Do you think barbells are what's the word? Do you think barbells are, what's the word? What I'm trying to say is, like, do they have to be used for like athletic training? Ooh. Like, have you seen, I guess, like people train without like heavy weights and stuff like that, or is it always like heavy barbell weightlifting?
I think it just depends on, it's case by case. So for me, I need a barbell in my life for sure.
Yeah,
but
I'm just saying for like WNBA, like, is it pretty? Okay.
It's some people, they don't need that. Some people like me, like, they do better being able to get those lifts in. Like it's almost custom.
I guess, like, do you guys train together as a team at all?
Yes, but like when you're a pro, you kind of have your own routine. You have your own trainers. You know what works for your body. So me doing a man-made might not work for my point guard. She doesn't need to do a man-made, but she might do some band work or other different types of things like that do work for her body.
Sweet. How was, I guess, standing out like when you went to the WNBA? Because like you said, you're this like feminine athlete. Yep. With and WNBA wasn't necessarily known for a lot of feminine athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I embrace that, and I like being different, and so I try to just walk into that lane as elegantly as I can, and understanding that it's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally okay, but it's not going to change who I am.
Yeah. Did it affect you at all, like mentally and stuff? Like,
no, because the WNBA, it's such a big thing, but like that's work. Like when I come home, I don't bring work home with me. Like I am who I am. So, you know, I try to be as consistent as I can with how I show up, whether that's in the WNBA, whether that's at home, but I know how to separate myself, protecting my space.
There we go.
And again, just not bringing work home with me and not letting stuff like that affect me.
That's awesome.
I try.
And I guess like, why do you play so many leagues?
Yeah.
It's because a lot of people, especially like if people compare it to the NBA, right? It's like usually an NBA guy only has like, this is what I do one season and I'm done. And Mo's over here like, I'm in Russia, I'm in China, I'm in the United States.
It's crazy. So a lot of people don't know WNBA players play overseas because that's where we make the bulk of our money.
Is it more than WNBA?
100%.
Oh, really?
Yes, you
Did
make
not know that.
great money overseas, and so that's the purpose and why a lot of people go overseas. Like I said earlier, I am a very optimistic type of person. So I love it. Like I've had a great experience and everyone has a different experience, but I wouldn't change my journey for anything.
For this optimism, what's the benefit to it? Because like a lot of people, they're like, say I'm optimistic. I believe I'm an optimistic person, but like sometimes when something shitty happens, I'm just like, wow, like it's hard to like be like, let's go guys. Like we got this.
Yeah. I never want to be fake about it. I definitely have those moments too, but I always try to see glass half full. Like maybe redirection was protecting me from something that I can't see right now, but in hindsight, maybe I'll see it later. And I totally believe everything happens for a reason and that I'm divinely guided and protected and that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So I believe that no matter what happens, like it's all destiny and it's all meant to be.
So do you believe that like everything that happens through your life was already like foreseeably planned?
I think it's written. It's so funny because I had this conversation with my agent. Me being a woman of faith, I think that my destiny is written, but I know that we have choice, right? As human beings. So if I go left, this is how it was written if I go left. But if I go right, this is how it's written if I go right. And funny because my agent does not agree with me at all. But I don't know. Does that make sense to you?
It's a hard concept to grasp.
Yes.
And I'll explain it this way because I think about this a lot. And for example, I was deciding whether to go to like UCLA or Cal Berkeley, right? Yeah. And I was like, my life would be totally different if I decided to go to Cal and not UCLA.
Yeah.
Like it would be...
I wouldn't know
totally different. We wouldn't know each other.
Yeah.
Right? And so like, how can that be destiny, right? If it was my choice to do this and I could have just switched my whole life in one choice.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's written either way. So I think if you went to Cal, I think that was written, but you didn't go to Cal, you went to UCLA. So that was written. You know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean. It's just a hard concept to grasp.
I know. And I don't know if a lot of people would agree with me, but it makes sense in my head.
Yeah. What's the importance of faith to you? Because like,
the importance of what?
Faith to you. Because I feel like people's faith in whatever they believe in grounds them to continue to do whatever they're doing, believing that there's like a safe space for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They know it's so true to them that because of their faith that they have a backup belief system. When there's so many people traveling through like life who don't have, I guess, that backbone.
Yeah. I mean, faith for me is just all about a relationship. So my relationship with Jesus and striving to, like I said earlier, live righteously, live the way that he has intended me to live. I know that looks different for everybody, but like I said, like that's me on my path, just trying to live on the path of righteousness as much as I can, choosing God over my flesh, which is so hard and it's a daily battle, but it's just a relationship. It's a relationship.
That's what's up. What are you most excited for in your life right now?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know if I've ever been asked that question before. I'm just excited to keep journeying. Like I'm living this life that I never imagined that I'd be living, and it just keeps getting better and better. And I'm just like excited for life. Like that might sound so corny and so like, I don't know, just people don't really say stuff like that. But like, I'm most excited for who I'm becoming as I continue to learn and grow, the people I'm going to meet, the food I'm going to eat, like all these different life experiences. I'm just open and ready to receive. And so that's what I'm excited for.
Do you feel like you still have that shocking factor? Like I can't believe this is my life.
Almost every day. I'm like, this is what? Like, really? I get to do this? It's so, and I like that about myself because it keeps things fresh and it keeps me very humble because I know all of this could be taken away in an instant.
Wow. Yeah. Because there's so many people that just don't have that mindset of like, this could be taken away. Like I'm gonna capitalize on it.
Enjoy it while you have it. Yeah. I listened to a podcast not long ago. I think it was like a Joel Osteen podcast, and he was like,
"Come on, Joel Osteen,
you feel me?
This guy's been around for a minute."
I know, but he was like, what did he say? He said, "The good old days are right now." Like the good old days are now. Like let me enjoy these moments. Like I wish my dad was still here. That was my best friend. So him not being here, it opened my eyes a lot to just understanding like none of these moments are gonna last forever. Good things don't always last forever. So just enjoy it while you have it.
Do you think about death a lot?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And it's kind of weird to say that, but I think about, I think it, like I said, it kind of just keeps me humble and just understanding like, man, if today was my last day, I want to finish empty. Like I want to be an empty vessel when all of this is said and done.
Yeah. I think about it all the time.
Do you?
Yeah. I had a couple friends growing up who like died and a couple family members, like, probably like all of these before like high school. And right now it makes me realize that you could have like friends, you could have family, and they could be gone tomorrow, and you could be gone tomorrow. So like, what's the impact that you're gonna leave? You know, and you should just do whatever you want to do because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. In that aspect. Okay. You know, sometimes. Yeah. I mean, like objectively, if you think about it, but I mean, yes, to a certain extent, that's what I believe in. You know, just do whatever you want to do because all these, I guess, emotions that you're dealing with of you should do this because society tells you to do it, or you should do this because your agent tells you to do it, or you should just follow your intuition because at the end of the day, like, are you going to regret not doing the things that you didn't want to do?
Right, you know? Right. So you're saying like live fully or live the life that you want to live because there's so many people who don't. You know, so many people
like yeah, that's just really it. Because I guess for me, like going to a community college and going to UCLA, and at the end of the day, like I decided I want to be a bartender and a personal trainer. Like a lot of people in my family are in like the medical field. They're like, what the heck is this dude doing, right? And then like it's working out better than a lot of like the family in like a medical field, or you know what I'm saying. It's just like I chose the right path, or the left or right path, and that was like my, I guess, what you were talking about. That was the thing written in stone there, maybe. I think
that's your purpose, though. Like, you're doing what you're passionate about. Sure. So I totally agree. I think we should live life on purpose.
Live life on purpose. That's what's
Walk in your purpose.
That's what's up. What do you call it? How do you take criticism? Like, how do you deal with it? Because being in the spotlight of the WNBA or just having a large social media following, like you might get some criticism, right? Totally. And we have mutual friends, and like some of them are like relatively big on like social media as well. And I've seen some of the stuff people say, and I'm just like, wow, like I would not want to ever be in like your shoes in that light, because a lot of people don't see, like, they see the glamour, but they don't necessarily see some shitty comments. So that's what people might say.
Man, it depends on like how you value that. I value who I am. So it's like, I'm not going to let anyone else tell me who I am, because I have that sense of knowing. And does that sway sometimes? Yeah. But I have people around me who remind me of that. And I just have to come back to that when I do feel like it's swaying or I'm unsure. And if criticism comes, I'm questioning things, I have to go back and root myself, ground myself, remember like, nah, this is who you are. You are her. And I have to, it goes back to those affirmations and remind myself. And everyone's going to have an opinion, but it's like, if I like who I am, if I like who I'm doing and how I'm showing up, that's all that matters to me.
So do you even read them?
No.
Zero.
I mean, Sometimes, not really. I mean, no.
Because there's a lot of people who just don't read them. They just decide that's it.
I'll answer positive ones. I try to interact and engage as much as I can. Thankfully, I don't really get too much criticism.
No, that's what's up.
But even if I do, like, I don't really feel like I'm not living my life for that person. Like, I'm living my life for me. Again, living on purpose. So it's okay if you don't align with what I'm doing. Yeah. That's okay.
How is it being a nomad?
Ooh, I love being a nomad.
Because like it's kind of scary when we talk about it, because like Mo's like living at our friend's house while like we're here. She's doing her own thing, like traveling all over the world, and I'm just like, a home base like is so nice to me, at least. Yes. Like I'm just like, wow, like we just talked about routines and stuff. Like we could have our own routines like at least my home, and like do everything curated towards like what I want to do. And like for you, sometimes it's not predictable all the time.
Totally.
You know?
I mean, I was supposed to be on a flight to Istanbul at noon today.
I know.
And
you're here. We're doing a podcast, baby.
No, so I love being a nomad just because I'm at a point in my life where I love traveling and, again, meeting people. I know that it's not sustainable forever. So I know at some point I'm going to want those roots. Yeah. I'm going to want to have a routine.
Because you've been doing it for how long now?
I've been living this type of life for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And I love it. Going on 6 years. I love it. So when I'm tired of it, when I'm burnt out, I'll know. And like, I'll be able to hit pause. But right now I live in a new place every 6 months.
I know.
My whole life is in Istanbul. Yeah. Sunday I'm going to Atlanta.
Where do you put your clothes?
Oh my gosh. I leave them at
like,
friends'
where do you
houses
store stuff? I'm serious.
No, like, dude, I live out of 2 suitcases when I travel. So I'll try to take stuff that's in season and switch it out. I bought a house in
Shouts
Atlanta.
Out.
You feel me?
House owner, book author. Let's go.
So I'll leave stuff like in my closets at my house, and I Airbnb the house too. So that's a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, home is just wherever I'm at. Yeah. You know, and quick shout out. I signed with Athleta.
Okay, come on, Athleta.
You feel me?
Let's
so
go.
I get like an abundance of clothes from Athleta now.
They shoot you some clothes wherever you're at. That's what's
they
up.
bless me.
That's what type of clothing are they?
It's like athleisure. Okay. I'm actually wearing it.
Oh, come on.
It's like athleisure. They have some like cute business corporate type looks as well. Very high quality. Yeah. Yes.
Speaking of future stuff, I guess like when that ball finally like flattens out, like what's the game plan?
Hopefully I could be a television personality. I'm really into broadcasting. I've already started that journey. Yeah. So it's been great.
What's I guess like what is the purpose of broadcasting?
Well, it depends on what you're broadcasting. Me, if I'm broadcasting a basketball game, or I just did like Pac-12 Studios last week. As an analyst, I'm describing what's going on the court. So, or the why of what's happening. Yeah. Like so-and-so shot this shot because of this, or they're able to rebound this well because of this reason. So I'm breaking down the game.
You're pretty articulate. Like I've seen you like do talk on a mic a lot.
Thank you. Know? Thank you.
And where did you learn that skill?
Ooh.
Because it shocks me sometimes, because some people, they're really good at their craft. Yeah. Right. If that's like a sport, or if that is whatever they're doing, like a business person or scientist or whatever, but then they'll hop on like for a little interview and they're like stuttering and they don't really understand, you know.
It's just being casual. Yeah. It's just having a conversation just like this. I'm a chatty patty, so I can talk, you know, but I love talking. So I feel like it's kind of just always been in me. It's weird though, because I'm an introvert. I'm an introverted extrovert. So when I'm not in front of a camera, when I don't have a microphone in my face, like I'm quiet. I'm very reserved and to myself, but something about when the lights go on, I just turn into a whole different person.
Do you agree that introverts are people who get energy from being alone, and extroverts are people who get energy from being around people?
100%.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you have like introverted extroverts where I do recharge by being alone, but like in Istanbul, there's like different bazaars and shops and stuff. I like just being there and just being around people, not necessarily speaking, but just feeling the energy and vibes of people around me.
Yeah. Do you party at all?
If people get me out the house, I'll party. Yeah.
How do you, I guess, like stay so solidly in your principles of like not drinking and whatever your principles are, when like you'll be surrounded by it in like these atmospheres? Because peer pressure is a real thing.
Totally.
Right. And like people experience it all the way from when they're in like elementary school to like adult life. You know, and sometimes like it's hard to, I guess, not give in because it's the thing to do. It's the normal thing to do. The quote unquote, like it's the cool thing to do or something like that.
I think it's finding what it's your normal thing to do. So my normal thing is not smoking or drinking.
I don't do that.
And I'm totally okay with that. And if I'm around people all the time who do, and that's cool. Like they can do them. And I'm glad to be around people who respect me for
100%.
Me doing what I do. And just being high off life. Being around good people who don't want to influence me in a bad way or don't want to make me feel that pressure, but are also comfortable being themselves. They're comfortable being them. I'm comfortable being me. And so we find a great common ground.
No judgment.
Just enjoying the moment.
That's what's up. If you had any advice to, I guess, like, anyone out there trying to achieve like that dream, not necessarily just like the Wonder Woman of like who you wanted to look up to and your goal in life after, and they just don't know like if it's possible, and they're not in an area where they have like belief in it. Back to like my first example of just like they got so many responsibilities, and they just want to like be an actor, be an athlete, or all these things, and they just don't know what to do.
That's a great question. And I feel like someone can go about it in so many different ways, but I think people need to kind of figure out their why. Why do you want that? And once you figure out your why, I feel like it's important to figure out a plan, even if it's just a step by step. Like, I'm going to do this to get here and this will get me here. It's just like the little steps. It's having great people around you. So it's almost like curating your environment for success. And something that we talked about earlier, just living on purpose. And that's going to look different for everybody. Like the guy who you met who works 9 months and then spends his whole living in the next 3, like that's what he wants to do. That's his purpose, and he's walking in it, and he's living a full life. So I encourage people just to figure out what that is for you. It's going to be different for each individual person. And then curate, like I said, your environment, your lifestyle, the people who you're around, like make it fun. Like, why can't life be fun? Why can't you enjoy living? Why can't the mundane things be things that you're excited for every single day? Like, make that the walk around the neighborhood fun, or the drive to work exciting. Like, almost like romanticize your life.
Just make it for what it actually is versus like don't downplay it. Make
it enjoyable. Like, even if it's just little things, it doesn't have to be some extravagant bougie type of lifestyle. It could be the smallest of things, but it's a mindset of this. I'm going to be intentional to do it.
How do you curate your network? Because in your book, you talked about I'm a professional at like cutting people off who aren't meant to be in my life.
Totally.
You know,
I always evaluate how people make me feel when I'm around them. And so a lot of times I'm alone or by myself because I hold myself and my friendships to very high standards. And so I'm willing to give so much. And so if the people who I'm around aren't necessarily willing to give that same amount, that's totally cool. But you're not going to be like a level 1, day 1 type of friend. And there's not many of those. So it's just all about just paying attention and just being aware of like
who makes you feel good. And I guess for the other aspect of it, the networking part, like you're in these like arenas or rooms or whatever with some people who like I could guess help guide your journey to like things where you want to be. You know, I guess like what are some questions that you would ask like these types of people, or what would you say to them like when you first meet them initially? It
depends on what space I'm in, but I think a good question is, what would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give to your younger self? Even asking people to mentor you, like, hey, I really admire what you do, and you know, gas people up a little bit, tell them that you appreciate them, admire them, and ask like, can you give me the secret sauce? Can you give me the game plan? And a lot of times people are going to say because I truly believe there's good people in the world who want to help and put other people on. So I think those are two really good ways.
Well, I think that's so true because like, honestly, if you get to a point where like, money is like not an issue, it's definitely like a tool, right? Or, and if you're older, you're like, what other fulfillment that I can get from helping this young person, like, grow and like they're hungry and
exactly, you know. But I think a lot of people lack that hunger, and so I think having that hunger and just that willingness to learn and be vulnerable and saying like, I don't know how to do this, you're doing it, can you show me the way, can you teach me? I think people like that.
Really, for some reason, like that I'm always nervous to say that to someone who I look up to or something like that. Because like I feel like it's coming on too strong.
Really?
Like, I feel like they don't want to hear someone say that.
I think you have to feel it out.
Okay.
I definitely think you have to feel it out and initiate that conversation. Maybe not by going in like that, but give compliments. Like, hey, I saw that you were doing that. That's really cool. How did you get into that? People like talking about themselves. So if you ask questions like,
trust me, I know.
like, how did you get into this? Or what did that look like? Or what steps did you take to get there? Asking people about their journey, it's huge.
What's the importance of mentoring for you?
It goes back to purpose. I know that that's what I'm meant to be doing. And I want to be a light. Like, I know that I have a light inside of me that is meant to be shined for other people to see. And so that's important to me. Just, I
guess the two questions would be like, what mentors have done for you? That was the thing. And like how you would, I guess, like, that's your goal to like mentor others, correct?
Totally.
Like, how are you doing that?
Okay, so first question, how people have mentored me?
Like what have some mentors of yours done for you? Because and then like how are you going to be a mentor to other people down the line?
Man, from a young age, I mean, playing in tournaments and my parents maybe not being able to afford me playing in the tournament, but people giving money or giving jerseys so I can play, different things like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people have lifted me up and built me up to allow me to be to this point. But I think mentors giving their time, sharing, like I said, secret sauce. And
the secret sauce.
Even if it's little things like, hey, I invested this type of way, or this is what I learned from going to these type of places, putting me on game in those ways, learning about like as an adult, like taxes and tax write-offs, stuff like that. Like I've had mentors who have like put me on game.
Yo, people do not know this stuff.
That's what I'm saying. But
we're not taught it in school, bro.
We gotta ask though.
Like that.
I didn't know. I didn't come from this type of background or knowledge, but like I am a sponge. I want to find people that are living in these elevated spaces and doing these amazing things. I want to be a part of it. I want to touch those people.
Love that.
And then as far as for me mentoring others, that's a great question because it's almost weird seeing myself in that light. It's like, dang, I am a mentor. But just being a positive example, making sure my actions align up with the things that I say. And I want to be accessible for people. I don't want people to feel like they're not able to reach me or that what I'm doing isn't something that can be applied or that it's not attainable. Like even with my book, I want it to be like, y'all can implement this into your life and make your own, again, curate your own way of doing things. Like the way I do things might not work for everybody, but find what does work for you. And I want that to be my legacy and the mentorship that I leave for other people.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Closing out, I guess there's a lot of kids out there or people who don't like play sports anymore. Yeah. Like growing up, like that was the thing to do. We would
technology world,
play with your kids, you know, like we'd be playing soccer during recess. A lot of people are playing on their phones now. Right. And all these things, I guess, like what is the importance of like parents putting their kids in like sports or a physical activity or some organized game that has an actual winner and actual loser?
I mean, you learn so much, not about just yourself, but how to work with other people. Sports transcends into life. Like everything that I'm doing on the court, as far as like leadership, making tough decisions in critical moments, you know, game winning shots, those types of things translate into life. And so I think sports are huge for character development, for, again, learning how to build with other people, learning how to accept the fact that you lost, and being humble enough to say, okay, I lost today, but I'm going to be better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow, and I'm going to try and come back from this loss. This is what failure feels like. I don't like how it feels, so I'm going to come back better, stronger. I'm going to work towards that.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important for kids to be able to be involved in any type of sport.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yay.
And then where can people find your book? Where can they watch your games?
Totally. Okay, so my book is on mobillings.com. MOBILLINGS.com.
Okay.
Instagram is just Monique Billings. Give me a follow.
Let's go.
And
all the links will be in the description, guys.
cool. And as far as watching the games, come to a game. If I'm in your city, pull up, buy a ticket, come to a WNBA
Roll
game.
through Istanbul.
Yes, that's a little far, but in the WNBA season.
I'm talking about people over there.
Okay, yeah. Istanbul people come to the Beşiktaş games.
Yo, I got some people from Istanbul listening.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, marhaba. That's how you say hi.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Cool.
Sweet. All right, everyone, go check out Mo.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Last minute, we made it work, and it was awesome.
No, you are a light. Keep up the great work with what you're doing.
Thanks,
I'm so
girl.
proud of you.
I'm trying to keep up with you. All right, see you guys. Bye.
Later.